aren't here.
This meeting is being recorded.
We had both those going on. We had a pandemic and an election year in the same year. Can you believe it? I can't believe that was actually going on, but that's exactly how they had it. They had both those going on. And I felt like I had a million things to do during the pandemic. And I felt like I couldn't focus. I was overwhelmed. I don't know about you guys through the pandemic. Because the pandemic made people so stressed out, their brains weren't even working. Did you know that people's brains started shutting down through the pandemic? Because they needed to calm down. They needed to figure out where they were and where they wanted to go. The pandemic made my brain overwork. Yeah, it did. And if you were like me, I tell everybody my story. I cried for the first 2 weeks when they shut down the world. I didn't even know what to do because I had all these businesses that were shutting down, and I work with small to mid-sized businesses. And so it wasn't only affecting me, but it was affecting all of my clients. So when that world shut down and we had an election year, oh my gosh, it was a lot. I cried for 2 weeks. I had no idea what to do. I was paralyzed. And so I did my meditation. I will let you know one thing I did during the pandemic. Some people literally did not get dressed during the pandemic. I was dressed every day and in my office at 7 a.m. every day, like a normal day through the pandemic. But it was choice, right? I might have been crying. I might have been a mess the first 2 weeks because I was. And then I was meditating and praying. And God said, Sherry, you have a whole toolbox. Go get it and go out and start helping others. So when I went out and I started helping others, now I had a goal, right? To go help as many small to mid-sized businesses and people that I could. And when I was trying to help some people, they were doing this. That frustrated me because my personality, anybody that knows me knows I want to help everybody. But we can't always help everybody. That was something I felt God, because I'm a Christian. You don't have to be a Christian to work with me, but I'm a Christian. And so I kept feeling like God was telling me, Sherry, not everybody can you save. I mean, God didn't know his ark. Come on now. He said, build the ark, get on the ark, believe the flood's coming. But he couldn't save everybody. If God can't save everybody, how can I? So I had to realize that. And so I went out and helped as many people. So Debbie, just to get you caught up a little bit, I was just talking about our mindsets can be awful. And I just wrote a book and I had the 1-year anniversary of my book. But during it, when I was writing it, it was a pandemic. And so when I was talking about mindset, it's like, I don't know about you guys, but we're in a pandemic right now and an election year. What the freak? How much more could we deal with, right? And then when they shut down the world, if you're like me, I think you guys can tell, I'm an extrovert on steroids. So you had me locked in a house, seriously? And I had a very, very angry senior who was slamming doors because she was going to have no prom, no graduation. And by the way, she never did have graduation. And then to make matters worse, she was born during 9/11, which a lot of them that graduate 2020 were, but she was a high-risk pregnancy because my brother died in the Pentagon during 9/11. So she was took 6 days early. So she was like, why me? So I had to deal with that too, right? There's a lot. So I had my business owners freaking out on me. I had my kids freaking out on me. And I know you guys had your own stuff. But when we do that, then we get overwhelmed. And literally, I was talking, Debbie, that your brain literally will shut down if you let yourself get overwhelmed. And so for 2 weeks, I cried. But I'm a doer. So I got to make sure I got dressed, and I even put my pants on and my jewelry, Debbie, the other Debbie, you'd be happy. I would put my jewelry on, my pants on, showed up to my meetings on Zoom that were on Zoom. Not all the meetings went to Zoom at first. And I belong to Toastmasters International. So internationally on Toastmasters, we didn't know what to do. And our contest was coming up in a month. So we have world champion speaker contest. So we had that going on too. So there was a lot. And I know you guys did too. And so if we made it through that, you became resilient, right? And so I went out and tried to help as many small to mid-sized businesses. I did whatever I could do. And then I accidentally got caught and got nominated for the Kansas Business Women Advocate of the Year. Don't worry, guys. I could get caught doing the wrong thing. I just got caught doing the right thing, right? I don't always do the right thing, but I did. And so then I end up even winning that award. And everybody's like, what did you do? And I'm like, I didn't do anything. I tried to do the next right thing, right? And then I won a couple other awards that year, and I wrote a book. But that's because I finally changed my mindset and started moving forward. And so I'm not bragging about me, because that's just not who I am. I love to help other people and make them look good. But what I'm saying is, what if you start doing what you think you need to do right, and you get your mindset right? How farther can you go, right? So that is my whole analogy of how I wrote my book, only because that's what we had going on. And to make matters worse with me, Debbie said that she found a relief during the 9/11 pandemic, because I really think it changed all our mindsets. You don't have to be as busy as you were. Do you know my kids, people judged me. Oh, wait, people always are going to judge you. Just write that down. But there's one person I care about what they think. There's only one person. Who's that one person in your life? And it's not me, it's God. Because like I said, I'm a Christian. It's the only person I care about. My husband has complained to me before, and I go, I don't care, I'm doing it this way. And then he'll be like, well, you're not. And I'm like, usually when we're in an argument, right? But I'll be like, hey, if God's okay with it, I'm good with it. I'm not asking you, I'm not. And it's not that he's not important to me, and not that his opinion doesn't matter. It does. I'm married, loving my life. I absolutely adore my husband. I do value what he thinks. But there's been times when I'm like, yeah, well, this is what I think God wants me to do. So this is what I'm doing. I'm not asking, I'm doing, right? I was busy being unproductive before the pandemic. Without those obligations that suddenly didn't exist, I got to choose. Did you hear that word? You get to choose. I love the word choose. When I would work, and then it was productive. Do you know that during the pandemic, we have Easter in a couple of weeks, not being all godly over here, but that was what are we in? We're in Lent. It was Lent, and we're Lutheran, so it's a big deal. And my son is a Lutheran pastor. He took his first call. He hadn't been there very long, and they had to take everything online. So they thought they were going to shut down the churches. Let me ask you, can you find a church service and sit on your couch? They're a dime a dozen now, right? There's no excuse that you can't get scripture or the word if you want it. Again, not shoving Christianity on anybody. Okay, so when they tried to shut down the churches, they became bigger. When they tried to shut down our businesses, they became bigger. I grew through the pandemic. Debbie, you probably have people from other states now that can buy your jewelry, right? We have two Debbies on here just to confuse you.
Absolutely. People from all over the world actually connect with me and things like that. So it's much broader. And you're right, I was able to reach out. But my previous company shut down 3 months before the pandemic hit.
Oh, yeah, so, that's right.
But I still found, and what we have learned and how we have pivoted, like you said, has improved and broadened my business and made it just another type of business. I'm kind of grateful that we had that opportunity, because I would never have changed. I would have still been an in-person business, keeping my world quite small.
And see, I've been able to jump onto Debbie's stuff because sometimes she'll just go live on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
So if it doesn't work with your schedule, then all of a sudden you can watch some of it, maybe not all of it, but then all of a sudden I'm maybe inboxing her, and I know other people are, and saying, hey, you know that star earrings that do blah, 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 do you have those? And that's what happens, right? Mm-hmm. So people only see part of it maybe, but then they ask you about it. But I'm not talking about how we pivoted, but we did, or we wouldn't still be in business. But I'm talking about, have you been through crap in your life? Mm-hmm. Now, you know what really, really bugged me during the pandemic? It's because I'm personally affected. My brother was never identified. It got dragged out 6 months, 9/11. My brother was never identified in the Pentagon. They had only lived here 18 months. My sister-in-law did not have her citizenship. I had to help her with that. I co-parented a 9-month-old and 2.5-year-old because my brother died, right? And so during the pandemic, when people were comparing it to 9/11, do you know that was a trigger for me? I realized I was getting really frustrated. I'm like, what the heck? This is not like 9/11. This is, and then and then all of a sudden, and like I told you, my daughter was mad because she was born in the middle of 9/11, high risk pregnancy, took 6 days early, and then still didn't have graduation or prom because we had the pandemic during 2020. You know what I've said to my daughter though? By the way, she's 21 now. She'll be graduating May 16th or 13th with her early education degree. But what I said to her is, you must be resilient. She said, what the heck, Mom? After she's slamming doors, she's getting mad. And I go, man, God has big plans for you and you're very resilient. And look at how much you do. Look at how much, right? Because I have bad news for you. Crap's going to happen. Write that down. Crap will happen in our lives. It will. I would use the other word, but yeah, come on, let's not cuss, right? But I do cuss sometimes. I'm going to be real. I am a real Christian. I do. People that know me know that I'm for real. But the point is, crap's going to happen. Do we plan on 9/11? No. Do we plan on the pandemic? No. Do we plan when our car breaks down? No. Do we plan when we lose a job? No. But resilience, right? I don't know how many of you on here keep a journal or write down about life. You do? You know what's really fun if you write a journal, and I'm not consistent, so I'm not, let's just be real. But what really, really is fun is after 9/11, my family not only dealt with 9/11, my brother died in the Pentagon, got dragged out 6 months. I was pregnant through it all, blah, blah, blah. It was a lot of stress on my marriage, my family. Shortly after that, though, we bought a house that had Stachybotrys mold, which is that black mold. We only lived there for a month, and that is airborne. So we lost our house. The pediatrician finally, after my daughter turned blue twice, she was 10 weeks old. Oh yeah, that was the one born during 9/11. That's the one that didn't get a graduation. That's the one, now she's sick right now and she's trying to be, I'm the one that's always sick, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what, Robin, change your mindset because this is not going to get you nowhere, right? And Debbie, this other Debbie knows my daughter, Robin. By the way, I'll apologize. She's mini me. So she's an amazing woman, but crap happens, right? And it's a lot. Right now, yesterday, she had an interview and she was really, really sick. And she's looking, to work at schools, and she's interviewing with schools right now. And it's stressful to student teach and and I get that. But don't say you're the kid that's always sick. You're not. She's like, yes, I am. And I'm like, well, but anyway, what I was going to say is we got ripped off in a house. So she spent her first 2 years at Children's Mercy with severe asthma. And as a mom, it was really a pain to live at Children's Mercy. Not complaining. My daughter's still here. I made it through it, but I had to work on my mindset the whole time, right? Because I mean, if I'm going to be pity partying, I'm not going to go anywhere. So life isn't about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you pick yourself up. And you know what? It is okay. Write this down. It is okay to have bad mindset. It's okay. What's not okay is to stay there though, right? Because what did I tell you? During the pandemic, you literally can get paralyzed if you're overwhelmed. Our minds do that. They shut down. So anyway, and then we lost our house. We had nowhere to live for 8 weeks. We had to move in with family, friends. It was a mess, right? And that was a big 14 months worth of stuff. And we end up losing our house. They rolled in favor of the good old boys in Linwood Baser. It's a long story. And I probably should have got divorced in the middle of it all, because that's a lot of stress on a marriage. And we had 4 kids and we finally moved into a 3-bedroom, 1-bath apartment, But you know what? One day we're laying in bed And guess what? We were fighting like cats and dogs. Rightfully so. It's not a lot of stress. But I said, hey, Kevin, we're going to go down. We can pull together and get through this, or we can just keep fighting. So somebody had to call the kettle black, right? So we looked at each other and go, okay, we might as well figure out how to get through this together. So guess what? That changed our mindset just by admitting where you're at, right? It's like, not going to do that. Why? How's that going to help? Guess what, guys? I made it through it. All 4 kids are healthy. I am married, been married almost 29 years, married, love my life, blah, 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 right? But there's been other stressors, ups and downs, of course, in a marriage too, right? So I'm not saying I have a perfect marriage, because I don't. I'm also not saying I'm a perfect person, because I'm not. Well, wait a minute, I am. I'm the better wife and mom. And if the other people would just do, right? How many times do we do that? How many times do we do that? We're like, oh, Kevin's being difficult, or the kids are being difficult, right? So I have a friend of mine, she's passed on. She was a great mentor friend of mine, and I'm very, very blessed because I have mentor friends of 32, 33 years. So I was 20 and they're like 20 years older than me. And now I'm not 20, in case you haven't figured that out. I'm not going to tell you how old I am, joking. But now all of a sudden I'm in my 50s, right? And they're in their 70s and 80s. Well, my friend Norma Hill died in her 80s. And so I used to call her, right? And she had a lot of health problems. She had an alcoholic husband who overcame alcoholism, became a great godly Christian person, amazing people, great godly people. And I'd be like, my kids are doing this. My car broke down. I have nowhere to live. My husband's doing that. Da, 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 da. And then she'd go, well, what's God trying to teach you in that, Sherry? And I'd be like, no, 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 no. Wait, Norma Hill. I didn't call her Norma Hill, right? I called her Norma. But I would be like, you did not hear me. And she'd say, oh, no, no, no. I heard you. Your kids are doing this. Your job's doing this. Your car did that. You lost your house, blah, blah. I heard it. But what's God trying? And I'm like, what in the world? So Norma Hill still haunts me today. She's been gone for quite a while. I have a little Norma Hill in the back of my head. So when crap happens, my Norma Hill will, well, what's God? I'm like, no, it's that. It's this. It's that. It's whatever. But stuff's going to happen, right? So guess what I have in my office? Have you guys ever heard of a thing called the Serenity Prayer? I have that in my office because remember what I told you when the pandemic happened? I want to save everybody. And some people did this to me. And I was like, no, 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 open your hands. Well, I made however much money. And I did because I was helping all these small businesses that were being shut down. And by the way, that pissed me off. Why were they shutting down my ideal clients, these small businesses, and they were letting Walmart and Sam's Club and Costco and Target and who else were they letting stay open? Because you know what? If you hang out in Walmart and you wear your mask, you're not going to get COVID. Yeah, right. Where if you went to a small business and you walked in there, there's not 50 million people in there. So logically, it made no sense to me, right? And these people that anybody's worked with me, right? These are not just my clients. They're my friends. And they had people, they had families they had to take care of. Make money. That just really was annoying me, right? And so I was like, okay. Then I would go try to help people. And someone would do this to me. And I'd be like, okay, you can't help everybody. You can only help those that want to help themselves. So anyway, today we're going to talk about mindset. And if you're in Kansas City, which I know Ruth's not, she's over there in Texas. It's probably nice and warm, right, Ruth? But if you're in Kansas, yesterday was a beautiful day. It was pretty windy, but otherwise it was nice. I even got my walk in, right? Today, you woke up and what did we have, guys, that are here in Kansas City? Rain and dreary and oh my gosh. And it messes up your mindset. I don't know if the weather affects you guys or not, but it sure the heck does me, right? And today I'm going, am I going to get my walk in? Should I go out? And last night I was going to get in my I have a blow up hot tub. I was going to get in it last night, but then my kids showed up. It's a long story. It was a lot of drama actually last night, but that's okay. Cause you just do what you got to do as a mom. Right. But anyway, so then I thought I could today, but it's raining. Right. It's raining. So how does that affect your, right? The weather will even affect our mindset. So I have a question real quick that I'm going to go around. But first of all, I also have but I want to, this is interaction. We're not going to just sit here and listen to Sherry the whole time. You guys don't really care what my mindset is, right? I mean, I do say you get to choose your mindset. So I lost my friend Gerald Harris, by the way. My book is dedicated to him. He's more of a parent than my parents. I lost him 2.5 years ago. It will be 3 years in August. It's been very, very hard not having him here. But he used to always say, make it a good day. And I'd be like, what? He'd be like, make it a good day. Yeah, but you can't always have a good day. It rains. My car breaks down. I lost my house. 9/11 happened. Pentagon happened. What happened? You can't make it. Yes, you can. And I'd be like, what? You get to choose your attitude, right? So we get to choose our attitude. But like I said, it's okay to have a bad mindset. But anyway, what I would like everybody to do is go around and talk about, what is your mindset, or when have you had to pivot with your mindset, and maybe actually more important in mindset, can we go around and tell people what we actually do for a living, right? Because what did you just say? We were just saying that we can all support each other and help each other because we're bigger, because a lot of you aren't even here in Kansas City. So if you tell us where you're from, what you do, and how your mindset's been lately, that would be great. So let's go around and do that. Debbie, how do we say your last name? Ricky?
Rick.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
the E is
you're the
silent.
one right of me, so I'm going to call on you first.
Okay. Well, I don't work right now, but I decided to join a company that sells supplements.
Uh-huh.
I've never really sold anything before, so I'm wanting to learn how to get the right mindset so I can go out there and present this stuff to people. And I'm from Kansas City.
Yeah, which is great, right? First of all, you got to believe in what you're selling, right?
Yes. It's
Secondly, you got to make sure you're not. Are you selling, Debbie?
I just signed up. I haven't started selling yet.
But are you selling? Does anybody want to be sold to? Everybody here that wants to be sold to, please raise their hand.
Yeah, I do. I want to be sold.
People don't want to be sold to. You're educating people on how this product could help them, right?
I get it.
Write that down, because that's what we're doing. You should be
Okay.
solving, if you have a business, or and by the way, Debbie, I did not appreciate you saying that you don't have a business when you just told me that you sell supplements. So you don't sell supplements. You might want to put down, I educate people on these great supplements that I
Oh,
learned
okay.
about. See,
Okay.
that's the other thing, because is that what you're trying to do?
Yes, I'm
Or
trying
are you
to.
going to tell me that you need to buy, I have our stupid remote, but that's just because I picked it up. You need to buy this. You need to buy it now. I need you to buy this. When
I'm
you guys all, hey, put it in chat. I'm going to send you for $14.95. I need you to send me money, and you need to buy this. How's that going to work? Aren't you all jumping on it?
It's not.
You
No,
don't
I
even know what I just shoved at you, except for I did tell you it was a
Right.
remote. But you don't even know what kind of remote. You don't even know, right?
that's
And
true.
you're thinking that lady is really salesy, and I don't want to deal with her. You don't want to come across that way, right? That is.
Yeah.
So come up with why you like the product,
Yeah.
how
Okay.
you're going to help others.
That's what they said. You're helping other people. You're serving other people by telling
And
them how.
not everybody's going to want your vitamins.
Right.
I wish everybody loved me, but not everybody loves me. Can you believe that? Look at me. I'm fabulous, but not everybody likes me. And I work with people all day long, and I can help them get from here to there, name of my business. And I create custom roadmaps, and I can do all these things for you. And a lot of people on here have worked with me. They know I'll pull a rabbit out of the hat. but I ain't everybody's cup of tea. Can you believe it? As perfect as I am, not everybody likes me. So not everybody's gonna be your ideal client, right? And so to get over that too and realize that's okay. Because maybe they want to try some other supplements, but yours have a reason why you like them.
Right.
So anyway, hopefully that's a little bit helpful to you.
Oh, it is. It got me thinking I've got the wrong mindset about how to present it.
Well, and if
And
we think we're selling, isn't selling sort of sleazy?
Yeah, I don't like the thought of selling, but
Do you want to be sold to?
I love these products.
Do you want to be sold to?
I thought I did, but when you put it in that perspective, I know, no, I really don't. I want to
Do
be
you like
helped.
used car salesmen? Because I hate them.
Yes, I don't want to be sold to. I want to be helped. I want to be,
And how did you find out about this product? Probably somebody educated you about it.
yes, that's how I found out. Yep, somebody told me how it helped her.
And it's
improved her-
okay if not everybody wants to use your product.
Right.
Write that down. It's okay. Don't become
Okay.
so desperate that you think everybody needs. No. Not everybody I don't want everybody to work with me. First of all, I even told you during the pandemic, I had people doing this and I was like, okay, I'm not working with you. That's fine. I'll help somebody else. Do you know that I actually lost clients through the pandemic? I didn't lose, no, I lost clients before the pandemic. I almost died 5 years ago. So I couldn't go all over Kansas City. Remember back when we did that before the pandemic? So I started saying, hey, we got to do Zoom. We got to do, and Gerald, my second dad, he wasn't letting me run all over the place. My whole colon almost shut down. It's a whole another story. Like I said, life's just going to keep happening. Come on. It's about how many times you pick yourself up. And technically I shouldn't be here, but it was 3 days before my son's wedding in Baltimore, Maryland. But it's a whole nother story. That's not, that's another story, another day. That's fine. But what I'm trying to say is I went around, I told people we got to meet on Zoom. Because I can't. And I told them my colon shut down and, 8 days after a major surgery when I should have died and my colon shut down for 12 days, I was back to work because that's how I am. And so my friend Gerald, my second dad, he's like, you ain't driving all over So I told clients what happened, and some people got mad at me because I wouldn't go meet with them and I wouldn't write. But then I lost clients. And what did you say, Debbie? The other Debbie, you said when the pandemic happened, that was a blessing. I lost clients and it was a blessing because when I lost that one client that was actually toxic and a lot to deal with, I was able to gain 3 more.
There you go.
That energized me and made me more, what is it called? A better asset for my other clients. Do you see what I'm saying? So if I have a client that drains me all day, how's that work? Don't you guys want to hang out with toxic people and work with toxic people all day? That's a lot of fun. No, it's not, in case you haven't done it. So that was a blessing in disguise for me. But at the time, I was a little bit freaked out. Wait a minute, I'm losing clients because I almost died and I'm overcoming. And then I went, wow, 3 more. So every one I lost, which was only a few, right? There was just a couple that I lost, not all my clients. Lena, I know you can't really talk, but if you'll put in your chat what you do, how your mindset is, or why you're here today, that would be awesome. Because Lena's on a train, but she didn't want to miss this. Isn't that awesome? So, and then we got Ruth, who actually needs to talk because she's driving. I don't know where she's driving us to.
I'm going home.
You're going home? Well, yeah, you're same time zone, so I can say good morning, Ruth. How are you? So, Ruth, do you want to tell everybody what you do? Because she does phenomenal.
I am a money coach. I help people get out of debt and live and the life they want.
Mm-hmm.
And I live.
And why are you here today? So good to see your beautiful face, by the way.
I just needed some extra energy and knew where to go to get it. And great idea.
Hang out with Sherry Berger. Who here thinks I have any energy? Not me. Good morning, Pat. How are you, babe? Good to see you. Can you unmute and tell everybody what you do? We can't hear you when you don't unmute. So you do have to unmute.
Okay, how's that? Is that better?
That's good. He's in Kansas City. By the way, Ruth's in Texas, so we can all be jealous of her because it's probably warmer there.
Cold and rainy.
Is it cold and rainy? But what is your cold and rainy? Don't compare it to mine. Okay, Pat, can you tell everybody what you do and why you're here today? And
I am a general contractor / handyman. I do a lot of handyman work as well. And I am here. I've been working with Sherry and trying to build this business, and she's been helping me.
he's not trying, he's doing.
Yes, I'm building this business.
He's rebuilding his business. He has a business, right, Pat?
Right.
It's all about those wording, right? Of how we say stuff. So Debbie, do you want to tell everybody what you do and why you're here? And
Okay, I am Debbie Duval, and I'm here in Overland Park, Kansas, not very far from Sherry. And I represent Park Lane Jewelry. I am a divisional stylist with them. I have been in the jewelry world for about 13 years. And I am always open to people's training. I feel that if we're not learning, we're not growing and moving forward. So I'm always open and love Sherry's energy. And this topic is just a real important thing to me. Our mindset is everything. It can change. Mindset and momentum are two of the most important things in whatever we do. Once you get things up and going, Pat, keeping that momentum going will keep you driving forward, and it changes everything. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
yeah, that's so true, right? But mindset, you do know, is an ongoing process.
Yes.
Do you guys remember Mork from Mork and Mindy?
Mhm.
Wasn't he funny? He's awesome. But he obviously struggled with mindset, didn't he?
Mhm.
And there's so many people that we see on stage or telling jokes or hanging out. And nobody knows what other people are thinking. That's a good thing at times too. But nobody knows, right? And so everybody can wake up and have a bad mindset. And I had somebody one time say, you need to always have a good mindset. No, you don't. That'd be called being fake. Do you think when my brother died in the Pentagon, I was real happy that day? Or when we couldn't find him and it took 6 months and we got no remains and all the crap that happened? You really think I just woke up and said, praise God? I mean, I did finally, right? But we got to work through stuff. Death's not fun. All these things that can happen in life. And it's okay to not be okay. The first step in figuring out your mindset is to admit where you're at. Did you write that down? We got to admit, we literally got to admit where we're at. So if we wake up and we just pretend, you know what saying I hate is fake it till you make it. I get what they're trying to say, but I am the least fakey person you can ever meet. A lot of people on here know me very well. You could not see me faking it till you make it. You got to be kidding me. Right? This is how it is. This is what's going on. This is what I'm getting through. And I'm not saying go out and tell everybody all your crap. That's not what I'm saying. So I don't know who on here has my book. I know a lot of you do. But my first day one of my book. Oh, Debbie, do you have my book?
Yep, sure do.
I know you do. I'm asking you, do you have my book?
No, but I want to get it. I want to get 2 copies. I was going to show up at one of your book signings, but I got the date all confused and missed it.
Okay,
So-
well, it's really easy to get 2 copies. And right now, actually, I'm giving away free copies and you just got to pay shipping and you
Okay.
can sign up. I'm not giving away 2 books, so I would give you away 1 free book
Right.
and I ship it to
Okay.
you. But, or you and I could always meet for coffee and lunch and I can give you 2 books. But,
Great. That would be great. I'll get with you.
okay. And then, but having my book, the very first chapter, day 1, is all about. So I believe I've owned my own business. My daughter will be 24 in April. And so when I got pregnant with number 3 child, I was a system analyst at Sprint. And I loved my job. But I had a 10-year-old, a 14-month-old, and I was pregnant. Well, I actually had a 4-month-old when I got pregnant. in case you want to know. 4-month-old, 10-month-old, and I was pregnant, and I was working as system analyst, and nobody knows what a pager is. I know you guys do, but nobody knows what a pager is. My pager and my baby would not go off the same time. And my husband would try to get up to deal with the baby who was like 7 months old. But you know how I got pregnant with my daughter, I was nursing him. So of course he would scream till he could get his mom. It was a whole, right? So I worked till I had the baby. So I had a 14-month-old, a newborn, and a 10-year-old. And I loved my job. I was great at it. I do it now. I would break stuff, help people figure out systems and procedures, and we put the pieces together. And I was a long distance division of Sprint. I know nobody knows what long distance is either. I think everybody on this call might be old enough to know what long distance is in a pager. But when I talk to the young people, they're like, what? And this was in the 90s, right? And women did not do this in the 90s. And I was phenomenal at my job. I even got a great job review, but they told me one thing. And women, or there are a lot of women on here, so you get it. Well, this can happen to guys too. They said, you got to choose between your career and your family because you're doing too many sick days when your kids get sick. Oh, by the way, my son at 7 months old from here to here got a spiral fracture. Somebody picked him up by one arm and and he had him in the ER. And then, of course, he'd get sick, whatever else. And they said, and I'm like, well, can I work from home sometimes? And of course, back in the 90s, they're not going to let you do that. So I had to choose between my career and my family. And then they said, hey, we really love you and we want you to stay here. We'll give you $10,000 more, which was a lot of money because you're phenomenal at what you do. But the words I heard was, I got to choose between my kids and this career. So my son got hurt and injured. I thought I'd do daycare. I stayed home. I tried to do daycare. I went to Daycare Connection. There's phenomenal women at Daycare Connection here in Kansas City. So learning how to run a daycare business, but they didn't know how to run their business. So I started saying, hey, you have this software, you do this, keep this for your CPA. You put all these systems and procedures together. Your business will run more effective and efficient. You're like, what? How do you know that? And I'm like, how do you not know that? Well, that just naturally comes to me. That's just who I am. So then they had me talk to their husbands who had construction companies and other, because they were like, you're phenomenal. How can you do that for free? I ended up getting paid to do that. And I ended up doing that, which was great. And then 9/11 happened and I was pregnant and high risk pregnancy and my doctor wouldn't let me work and blah, blah, blah. Well, 11 years ago, anyway, long story short, 11 years ago, I started up this company because I do consulting and training. And so in saying that, sometimes we got to make choices that are best for us in whatever process or procedure in our life that we're at, right? We can't change all that crazy that happens along. And a lot of us are entrepreneurs with that. Well, in the middle of doing all that, every time I would sit down with people, I can put a business plan together if you want one. Are you going to get a bank loan? Because really, you don't need those big, long. I have you do a smaller business plan. But I can help you with that. I can help you with marketing, all these things, right? But I would sit down with people and they'd be going through a divorce. So I couldn't get them to focus on their business. Or they would have health problems. Or they'd have teenage problems. Or they would have, I don't even know, right? And so I keep trying to take people back to the business. So over time, I've been doing this for 24 years. I learned that there's 6 areas of your life that need to be in balance. Now, can we really have true balance, guys? Who here always has their life balanced? But without a plan, we plan to fail. Did you hear me? Without a plan, we plan to fail. So people would tell me their ex, or they're going through a divorce, or it's their ex-husband, or their teenager, or whatever, are being whatever they're doing, right? So if we have a plan on how are we going to deal with that when it comes up, because it's usually the same stuff, right? So our health, our personal development, our spirituality, core of who I think everybody is. Now I'm a Christian. You don't have to be a Christian, but everybody has a core of spirituality, right? So there's these 6 areas in our life that I realized. Relationships. I used to say family, but not everybody has family, but everybody has relationships. Do you know that relationships affect your business? Do you know that health affects your business? Do you know that personal development affects your business? Because if you're not growing, you're dying. And we're talking about mindset right now. Have you guys ever heard this before? You can write it down. Garbage in, garbage out. So if you have those bad records, which all of us have them, if you have those bad records and you're not listening to positive stuff or hanging around the right people, how's that going to work? So we have relationships, our health, our personal development, our finances. I want you guys to write these down unless you're driving, do not write, Ruth. But anyway, we have our relationships, our health, our personal development, our finances, our spirituality, and our business, right? So in each of those areas, we should have 3 goals and 3 habits, but we're not there right now. Right now, what did I tell you? How's your relationships going? Be honest with yourself. Give yourself a 1 to 10 on that. And it's okay if you have a 1. It's okay if you have a -1. You're like, what? Yeah, because we got to admit where we're at, right? Same with our health, personal development, our finances, our spirituality, and our businesses. That's going to be your guys' homework, okay? To give yourself a scale. And then you can do a brain dump. What are some areas that you wish you could improve or accomplish in these areas? Do you know there's people that actually want to be married? What is wrong with them? I'm married. It's a lot of work. Oh, wait, there's a lot of people who are married and they want to be single. Wait a minute. Being single is a lot of work. I hear that. I've pretty much been married my whole adult life. It's my husband's fault, but whatever. My point is, right? Why do we always think the grass is greener on the other side? Is being married harder or being single harder? Pick your hard, right? They're both hard. Having kids harder, having no kids, having animals, whatever, right? But where in your relationships do you want to be better? In your health, in your personal development, in your finance, in your spirituality. Because I say, if you're not filling yourself up, I was just telling somebody today, I was like, what do you guys think I do? What do you think I do all day? What do you guys think I do all day?
Meetings, conversations, communication.
I literally energize everybody all day long. Did you not know that? I know you guys are shocked. Now, I help them with processes and procedures. Go ahead. Oh, Pat's waving to somebody else. But I actually help them with processes and procedures and everything else. But I hear people's problems all days too. And I come up with solutions to their problems. Do you know that I do that? And I love my job, by the way. I say I just have a cup of coffee with people and come up with solutions and fix their problems. Right? But what if I don't show up the best version of me? How can I do that? Okay, I'm going to try this. Oh my God, it's raining outside. It's such a crappy day today. I mean, if I show up like that, how's that going to work? Do you guys want to hear what really is going on in my life? It's raining in Kansas City. It's really, really crappy. And then my dog poops in the kitchen. And that was really annoying. And oh my goodness. And then my husband was grumpy this morning. Seriously? How would that work? And by the way, that's my real life. Let's be real, right? Like yesterday, I thought I was going to get in the hot tub, right? But then my daughter and my son-in-law came over and my other daughter was sick and all this crap happened. Now, I will be honest with you. My oldest son, I actually have one that's 34, and then I have younger ones. So I had 3 teenagers all at once. It was hilarious. And he stayed here through the summer before he went off to seminary school because he's a pastor. And so he was here through the summer, and the kids would show up. I don't know who on here has ever had teenagers, but you never know what they're going to come home with. You never know what their mood's going to be. And so one would come and then I'd be like, when you can talk to me in a little nicer tone, then we could discuss that. Yesterday, I told my daughter when she was having a big whatever in front of her brother and his wife, I said, hey, can we talk about this later? No, because you're just going to lecture me like whatever she says. And I'm like, No, again, we're talking about this later, but I would do things like this and I didn't even know I was doing it. That's what's funny. So I would say, when you talk to me in a better manner, then we can talk. And then I'd say, hey, how was your day? And then, I have 3 teenagers, right? And so you give the positive to the ones that are being good, and the other ones, you just have to redirect them. So my son, what was he, probably in his late 20s at the time, he looks at me and he goes, how do you do that, Mom? I go, do what? He goes, the kids come home, they throw all this crap at you, and you just do this, and I go, what do I do? And he goes, well, you'll redirect that one, you'll pay attention to this one, and then he'd even watch that sometimes my husband would come home and need me to whatever, right? But if we're not filling ourselves up, we don't have the skill set to do that. Does that make sense? We can't do that. And don't worry, every day I don't do it well. I know it sounds like I do, I don't. Because if I'm not filled up and I'm over, I will be like, look, child, and I've literally done this. I'm embarrassed to say it, but I'm not, because it's real. Look, child, if you don't talk to me in a better manner, I'm not even going to talk to you. Okay, now what's going to happen? How do you think that works? They're going to calm down, aren't they? The other person. Then it starts a big fight with my teenager. And don't worry, I've been down that road, right? But usually if you go down that road, you want to know why you went down that road? Because your mindset wasn't right. You weren't right. So if we don't take care of ourselves and put our air mask on, how can we take care of other people? Debbie, I think that you should just complain about life and everything that's really going on in your life and then tell them to buy some sparkly jewelry and see how that works. Right? Or this other Debbie, you should just talk about how tired you are and drained you are and you hate the rain, but you should buy my vitamins. What? But so all of us have to go out and give back to the world, which is important, right? But if we don't fill ourselves up or admit that we're having relationship problems, oh, by the way, we all have them. Did you hear me? We all have some kind of relationship problems. And health. You can control your health to a certain extent. You can take great vitamins. You can work out. You can do these 5Ks that you run, or what do you run, Ruth? I don't even know. You can go for walks. You can go to the gym. You can do all these great things. You can eat the right things and you still could have health problems. You'll be less likely, but you still can because life happens, right? So that affects you. But what if we do all those things that we can do to try to prevent that, right? And you don't have to run if you don't want to, because I don't even know how to run and I'm not even going to try to learn, especially at my age. No, thank you. We got people like Ruth that think it's fun. I don't know. But what do you think is fun to get moving, right? Jazzercise sounds fun. Water aerobics sounds fun. Lots of things sound fun to me that are different. And don't compare yourself to others when you're putting all this together. So like 3 goals in your relationship, for instance, let's just use an example, because now we're going to put goals together, right? So your homework's going to be admit where you're at. Next one's going to be, we have relationships, health, personal development, financial, spirituality. We want 3 goals. Relationships. I did this when I had a bunch of teenagers. My oldest is 9 years older than the other 3. So I have a 34-year-old, a 25-year-old, a 24-year-old, and a 21-year-old. So I literally had a 3-2, a newborn, and a 13-year-old at the same time. Somehow I survived it. So I know other people can survive. But I would get frustrated because my son turned 16 and had a driver's license and he wouldn't be home for dinner. And family dinners are really important to me. And I think that we need to have more of those. And I think the pandemic, that's what I was trying to tell people. I made everybody come over to, I said, everybody's going to always judge you. I made them either go to work or school. But actually they didn't have to go to school. They could do it on Zoom, but they were working, either work their house, because they didn't live here. A lot of them didn't, my kids, or my house. And then I would cook. So we had a lot of family dinners, which was a great thing through the pandemic. But having family dinners with your relationships is so important. And, so what are those 3 goals, right, that you could do in your relationship? Do you know that I don't answer the phone after 10 o'clock? Which sounds like a big deal, but no, really, it's not. It is for me. Because I had people calling me all the time because I help people, I support people, I whatever. But I spend an hour with my husband every night, right? That's not every night, but most nights. That's my goal, is every night, right? But not every night, because it doesn't always happen. But at least I have it as part of my goal. Sometimes I actually have meetings in the evening. And then your health, your personal development, your finances, and your spirituality. So what are those? Like, what are you doing for personal development? I love it when people tell me I don't like to read. Well, guess what? You don't have to read nowadays to do personal development. I tried to tell the kids the other day, they YouTube everything to figure out how to do whatever. I said, we used to have to go to the library and use those index cards and look up the book and then open it up and read. And all you guys do now is YouTube. So there's podcasts you can follow. And actually, if we figure out which areas we're trying to work in, do you know there's podcasts on relationships? And there's books? And there's YouTube? And there's, right? Do you know the health? There's the same idea. So there's lots of personal development. I'm saying pick 3 things that you're working on in your personal development, right? So Debbie, you're trying to start a business and you want to figure out how to be sales, right? There's a lot of stuff on sales. And actually, if you inbox me or later, we can even talk about, because I'll have it right in front of me. But there's a lot of sales books that we can read, right? On how to do sales but education, right? And there's a lot of them on leadership. And I'm big on being a servant leader, because guess what kind of leader Jesus was? A servant leader. Guess what kind of leaders people like? Servant leader. Now, this is not about politics. I don't care if you like Trump or you don't, but he's not a servant leader. He's a pretty much all about himself leader. Now, he made good decisions and and I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that is like the opposite, right, of a servant leader. And that made people not like him. And so people are going to work with people that they like, know, and trust. So people would be like, oh, he's a bully. Well, he is. Yeah. He wants what he wants when he wants it. And it works for him. But ideally, no, that's not a servant leader. So you can't just go around telling, right? Because that's not going to really work in the real world. Finances. Does somebody have something to say? So if you look at the leaders, like even, did you guys realize that Walt Disney was a servant leader? Chick-fil-A, have you ever read his book? He's a servant leader. And running a business, right? Walmart, which is not like that anymore, but Sam Walton was a servant leader. Disney is not such a servant anymore when it got passed down the next generation. Walmart is not either. Remember how you used to be able to return anything? All this stuff with Walmart, they were very customer service oriented. They are not now, but that's how they built themselves. And now I hear people always say, I hate Walmart. I've never heard anybody say, I love Walmart. You know why people go to Walmart? Cheap. They go to Walmart because it's cheap. Have you ever went to Walmart and then went to Target? How do you feel after you leave Walmart? Stressed out? Dirty? I don't know. Do you feel awesome? When you leave Target, right? Or you walk in Target, it's bright, it's more whatever. I'm not making it about, but I'm saying when you're looking at your company, who do you want to be? If you want to be cheap like Walmart, go for it. If you want to be like Chick-fil-A, right? Let's look at Chick-fil-A and McDonald's. Now, McDonald's has always made sure they had Happy Meals to make kids want to come there. But Chick-fil-A, do you know what they always say to you? What do they always say to you after you get your food? What are you saying, Debbie? Tell us.
My pleasure.
Yeah. What do they do with you at McDonald's?
Nothing.
My daughter figured out where you could work when you're 15, McDonald's. My daughter at 15 was having to mentor and coach 16 and 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds at McDonald's. She was like, are you kidding me? Guess who always had to run the drive-through? My 15-year-old, because you got to be efficient and effective and actually right. But what happens if your order's wrong at McDonald's? I mean, they might fix it. Do they say, oh, my pleasure? Do they say sorry? Do they give you an extra fries or something? If you get your order wrong at Chick-fil-A, what do? They might even give it to you free. They want to make sure you're happy. And how do you feel after you leave McDonald's and Chick-fil-A? These are just examples, right? But when we're looking at that, right? When we're running our business, and I'm saying that because you can read these people and you can look at leaders on your personal development and decide who you want to be like. But I had this problem one time. So I get on stage. I'm a public speaker too. I do a lot of motivational. I've won a bunch of awards, blah, blah, blah. But I get up there. And so somebody comes up to me and they go, oh my gosh, I want to work with you. I said, okay. They said, I want to figure out how to be you. I said, no, you don't. They said, oh, no, really, because I can't do what you do. And I go, because you're not made to be me. And they're like, but I want to work with you. So I said, no, if that's why you want to work with me, you cannot work with me. It's not because I don't want you to be me, but I actually belonged to this Toastmasters club, and this girl was funny. She would show up, and I have a little bit of smart ass syndrome, anybody that hangs out with me. And my husband claims that my mom's real witty, and he thinks I'm a little witty. So I'm just going to say whatever. I'm going to be like, oh, good. Finally, I'm glad you finally showed up. It's great seeing you. Whatever I'm going to say to my Toastmaster friends. And I've been in Toastmasters a very long time. So this lady showed up and she tried to do it. And she fell flat on her face. And she's like, well, it works for Sherry because people are going to see if you're authentically you. So even if you follow these leaders, and I say have those people that you look up to, you might want to be sort of like, but you can't be them. Do you know you weren't called to be them? You were called to be you. And I already told you, it took me till I was 40 to realize this, but not everybody's going to like you. But if I try to show, Ruth is phenomenal, Debbie's phenomenal, and Pat's phenomenal. But if I try to show up and try to be these other people, how's it going to work? It's not going to work. So then she showed up another day, the same person, I'm not kidding you, and tried to be another one of my friends, and she fell flat again. And she wasn't one of these people that you felt you could really approach to say, you know what, can you just try to show up and be you? But I've noticed over time, she started evolving, and guess who she's acting like now? Herself. And some people like her and some people don't, right? But trying to be the other person. And I guess maybe I should have been complimented. That only happened to me one time, by the way. They pulled me, I got off stage and they're like, oh my God, I want to work with you because I want to figure out how to be you. No, you don't. You want to figure out how to be you in the best version of you. So change your mindset and even that. So we don't need to try to be other people. Do not copy other people. You will go flat on your face. So we need to get clarity with our goals. Have you guys heard of the word SMART before? SMART goals. Does everybody know what SMART goals are? Specific, write this down, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time sensitive. I've heard people say before, I want to buy a new car. Okay. And they keep their old car, right? Which is fine because you need to drive it. But they never wrote down what time they wanted. They never said how much you're going to spend on a car. They never, right? I want a house. I want a new job. I want to make more money in my business. What does that even mean? So after we write these goals down, if you want to make more money in your business, what does that mean? How much are you making now? How about if I want to double what I'm making now? And then you tell me I'm making $500 a week, which is okay if you're starting off. So that means now you want to make $1,000 a week? Or what if you're making $0 a week and you want to double it? That's great. How much does that mean? Yeah, but what if you want to make 300 or 200, or what do you want to make? How much a week do you want to make? How much a month? How much a year? You could go to a year and then we could break it down to months, right? Or even better, how much do you need to make? Right? But if you don't have those written down, and people, I literally help people with budgets, by the way. I do a lot of what Ruth does because that's how we met each other. Certified financial coach too. I sit down and help people with their budgets, but it's related to their business and what we're doing. Literally, Ruth will walk them all the way through getting debt free and all that. That's what she does, which is great. But I will sit down and tell people we got to do a budget. Who wants to do a budget? I don't even call it a budget, by the way. It's a pre-spending plan. Because who is going to spend money this month? Nobody here? None of you are going to spend money. But if you have no plan, what's going to happen to your money? It's going to fall through your fingers, right? So money, people need to change their mind with money too, right? Do you know that money is amoral? That means it's not good. It's not bad. Right? It's just amoral. It's just a tool. You guys are not old enough to remember when they used to trade eggs for milk or beef or, right? But you've watched Little House on the Prairie. I don't know how much it's true. I mean, I know they traded, right? But now we just trade money for stuff. And it's not even paper half the time now. Sometimes it's Venmo and Cash App. But if you do paper, do you know that psychologically, if you take a dollar bill and give it away, it'll make you spend less money than if you do it all cash? Use cash. I don't know why, but I do because it's easier to swipe. And you know, all the marketing people know that. So they've made you where you'll spend more money because it doesn't feel like you really spent money. But if you have a plan with your money, how much further could your money go? So do you guys have a plan with your relationships? Or you just go by the seat of your pants? And what I mean is a plan is we're going to have dinner once a month. That's what I started telling my son when he got whatever age. Or we're having dinner on Sunday nights. Or we're going to go on a date once up, right? Or I love this. And us as women, we're really bad. Hey, Debbie, we need to get together sometime and have coffee and lunch. Hugs, hugs, love you, bye. Guess what I say next time I see Debbie? Hey, Debbie, we should get together and have coffee or lunch. Love you, hugs, bye-bye. What the freak? Where's the plan? Where's the follow through? I really miss you. Okay, but are you spending time with those people? So how often you need to get together with your girlfriends or your business associates? Do you have a plan for that? How often do you need to hang out with those toxic people? Zero. Sometimes you can't get them out of your life. Sometimes you have to hang out with them. I started limiting some of my family stuffs to 1 hour, maybe 45 minutes. But I showed up. It's Easter. It's Mother's Day. It's, you know, I showed up. But you got to have a plan. So that's what your guys' big thing's going to be this year. I mean, this week, this day for tomorrow. And we're going to clarify them and prioritize them. But we can't just have a plan. We have to have a habit. So like if you want to spend more time with your girlfriends, what if you had a habit that once a month, I call a girlfriend and we meet up for lunch or coffee, or once a week, or what is it? But don't hang out with the no fun ones, right? You got to hang out with those people that energize you and bring you back up. So what is one area that you guys are working on when we talk about these areas right now? You guys want to go around and talk about that? I don't want to sit here and just talk the whole time, Debbie. Do you want to tell me a little bit of what you're working on? Of course, I'm going to pick on you first because you're on my right again.
You must mean me.
Yes. We have two Debbies. One's on one side and one's on the other side.
I'm Debbie with a Y.
Yep, Debbie with, yep. I just had somebody, they did a podcast and they realized they spelled my name wrong. So they
Oh.
inbox me and they apologize and everything else. I said, oh, well, that's okay. Well, she goes, well, I fixed it. And I go, yeah. And I probably would have told you about it, but it's not to make you feel bad. It's just, I had some people that have known me for however long and they didn't even know how to spell my name.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
Sherry, how can you spell Debbie? Lots of different ways. So
right.
only Debbie with a Y. So what are some things that you're working on?
Right now I'm working on my health. That's why I got involved in this company with supplements, because I've
Mhm.
had health issues. And when I saw how my friends' health improved, I started trying them and I got a little bit of improvement. I thought, well, I really need to get into it. So I joined.
So
So
who do you work for?
it's called 3.
Oh,
It-
okay.
It's a brand new company.
Yep, I've heard of
And-
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's supplements that they use the liposomal technique.
Hmm.
So you waste less of the vitamins when you take them. Because they always say, when you go to the bathroom, you're flushing your vitamins away. But these you absorb more. So I'm kind of excited. I'm learning about it.
Hmm.
So I'm doing a lot of Zoom classes so I can learn more.
Oh,
So
that's good.
But I'm
And
working.
so did you just hear what you just told me? Your business and your health are directly related.
Right. Right.
And then your finances, as you grow it, is going to be related, right? And then
Yeah.
you told me I'm taking lots of Zoom classes. Oh, wait, that relates your personal growth, personal development, right? In your
Right.
relationships, you need to find people that are healthy in
Right.
that field and get more educated. So do you see how all those components I talk about,
Yeah.
and I told you after so many years of doing it,
Wow. Wow. Okay.
see how
Wow.
they're all working?
Yes. Yes.
So when you do your homework tonight, and we'll come back tomorrow, I want you to
Okay.
make sure that you're doing your relationships.
Okay.
And do you know that relationships affect your health? If you hang out with those toxic
Oh.
people too much, they mess up your mindset.
Definitely. I had to let go of 2 toxic people in my life. Just
But
completely.
people have like exes. I love this. And they're raising kids together and they're exes because they would have been married had they been, right? And now you got
Right.
to deal with them. And I get that you got to deal with them.
Right.
But what if you have boundaries with that, right?
Hmm. Yep. Yep. That's
So
why I had.
that's another
Oh.
thing. We got to sometimes set up boundaries if it's family members or people that we can't just disconnect from. Because I love it when people are like, just don't hang out with toxic people. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Some of us have to work with them maybe, or some of us have relatives, or some of us. So it's not unrealistic.
Right.
But how about boundaries?
Yeah. I learned a
That's
great
not.
about boundaries. Setting boundaries determined who I could keep in my life and who I couldn't. And those 2 people would not respect my boundaries, so they're gone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly, I mean, that can happen, right?
Yep.
But I told you about some toxic clients I had. I realized how they didn't care. And it's not that you have to care what's going on with me, but this is how we're going to do this business because this is what I got to do now. And I'm still going to help you and support you, but that's fine. Go find somebody else to do it then, right? I mean, I'm not being mean in that because that's another problem with me. Not really, right? Is that I never want to hurt anybody's feelings. You don't need to hurt people's feelings and you still can have boundaries. Lena, we would love to hear from you. So if you can tell us what you do and why you're here and what you're working on. And I know you got to put it all in the chat, but we would love to hear from you. So yeah, if you would do that, that'd be awesome. I know you're on the train and all, but we would love to include you. So Ruth, what are you working on? And it's great to see you. I haven't seen you for a while, girl.
Well, I just spent 4 tiresome days doing, what was it called? Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins. That was
Oh,
a
yeah.
workout. And what I am working on, I decided to do a repeat of my orientation with the company that I'm with, Coach Connections, and really narrowing down my why and my avatar to get my ideal client. And what's wonderful is that we have coaches that are all over the world, and that I have a mentor with that and a success coach. But that's what I'm working on, is really getting my avatar down And since I joined the Chamber of Commerce, I'm able to get out there and be more visible because
Mhm.
visibility and accountability equal profitability. And so
I love it. See, write
I'm-
that down. That was a writer downer. Come on now. Say that again,
And
Ruth. Put
accountability,
it in the chat.
visibility, accountability, credibility, excuse me, is a visibility, credibility equals profitability. Because people will see you, they're going to hear and know that you're credible because they're going to by word of mouth, and then they're going to refer people to you. And so the more I'm out there, people, it's easy to go to ribbon cuttings and the power lunches, and they have little mixers and whatnot, and let them hear that they, 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and there is a solution to it, and you don't have to live like that. And to realize that your dream can become a reality, and you can have the life and lifestyle you want without going in debt. It's a young couple I spoke to the other day that had a credit card, and they were so excited about it, and they never pay it off. And I said, did you ever think that you're still paying for the coffee that you bought 6 months ago? That cup of coffee you're drinking today, you're gonna still, and that they drank 6 months ago, they're still paying for it and they don't realize it. And it's just little things like that to make people aware and be more intentional. And like, we have to be more intentional with our time and prioritize things, which I
Mhm.
learned from you. She's a wonderful mentor, and to really get that vision down, and because I want to share my vision, my passion with others, and let them have the life they want, because it's a wonderful feeling when you can do what, have your time and lead others to the same success that we've had.
That's awesome. Yeah, because
And my
chapter 2
goal
in
this
my-
year,
Huh?
my goal last year was to run a full marathon at 70, and I did it. This year, my goal is to run a half marathon every month. And so far, I've got my first 3 down, and I placed in the top 3 in 2 of them, in the top 5 in the other one. So it's exciting, and we just have to keep moving. And now my DirecTV guy is asking for me. Thank y'all.
We have to believe that she's 70 first. We don't believe that part. So there you go. All right, Pat. You're up. What are you working on right now for this next? Well, actually, we're going in second quarter, right? So I really just want to really talk about what we're working on for second quarter. So what are you working on, Pat, in these different areas? And I know you're very familiar with these areas. You have to be unmuted. So Toastmasters, they were literally a bunch of the leaders ended up buying cups that said unmute so that you could do this with your coffee cup. Unmute
Is
yourself.
that better?
Yeah, because now we can hear you and we can see
Okay.
you. So what are you
All right.
working on for next quarter?
Well, it's work stuff. I am, building business leads, generating business. I'm out, been upping my networking. I started working with you. And you have been a blessing to me, and I appreciate you. And let's see, one of the short-term goals is to build up enough to where I can start advertising.
See,
How about that?
and that's great. And see, if you look at that, right? Relationships, he got a coach. That's a great thing, right? It
Yeah.
affects your health, which is your mindset, right? Personal development.
Right.
He talked about he's even out networking and talking to others, right? And then it's going to help his finances. And of course, that's going to build his business, right? And spirituality, part of it can be your mindset and everything that you're doing, right? But
Right.
we have to make sure that we're filling ourselves up. Like I always tell people, how do you start your day? Do you know that that matters? Today I woke up and I could have said, oh, it's raining, right? But instead I woke up and did my normal I don't know about you guys, but if I don't always do this. First of all, sometimes I have 7 a.m. meetings. If I have 7 a.m. meetings, I don't have time for this crap. Let's be real. But I wake up in the morning, I make sure I do my devotion. I make sure I do my meditation. I make sure I listen to some positive podcasts. I make sure, right? I spend probably the first 30 minutes of my morning doing things like that. Some people get up at 4 or 5 in the morning and they go to the gym. I don't know what's wrong with those people. I don't do that. I will go at lunch or I'll go at 4 o'clock to the gym. I usually like to go halfway through my day to go for a walk or go to the gym, because then I find my brain is sort of going to sleep, right? And so it'll remotivate me and get me going. I tried going to the gym in the morning before, and I tend to half-ass it. I am not into going to the gym at 5 or 6 in the morning. Okay, so I'm telling you this because the way I do my life is not the way you need to do yours. Maybe you don't want to get up at 6 a.m. and do your Bible study at 6 a.m., maybe 3 in the afternoon, or your meditation. And a lot of times when I'm listening to those positive podcasts and leaders and people that I follow, you know what I'm doing? I might be checking email. I might be going for a walk. I like to multitask. Now there's times I've been multitasking and I'm like, wait a minute, I need to stop what I'm doing. I need to actually listen to the speaker. And I probably need to be taking some notes. Because all of a sudden I realize I'm not comprehending. Just because I got it playing doesn't mean I'm listening. And I'll go for a walk and I will be listening to somebody. Then I get back home and I go, I need to re-listen and I need to take notes on this. Because some of this stuff is not where you can do other things. You need to actually focus so that you can write down. Because note takers are money makers. Did you know that? Write that down. Note takers are money makers. If you're taking notes today and you reapply what I'm saying, just a few nuggets that you get from me today, it'll make your life better. It will help in other areas and you'll make more money. Because Debbie, with a Y, I think I gave you a couple nuggets that you went, I didn't look at it that way. And if we hang out in masterminds like this, which by the way, I got 6-week mastermind that will be starting up next month. And I do them once a quarter and they're great because we move you from here to there. And it's helpful. We actually work through my whole book, but we actually do it at a deep level. Ruth's been through it, so she knows what I'm talking about. So we go really deep so that you can have your custom roadmap put together. And right now, if you go out to my website, you can download all my worksheets that go with this book for free. And then you can put them in a 3-ring binder without having my book, and you can somewhat work on it. But when we do this mastermind that's going to start up, and of course, you guys can join my mastermind, I keep it to 10 people because we want to make sure that we're, able to cover where everybody is, and we want to dig deep. And then people in this group, of course, have done a lot of one-on-one coaching with me. But of course, the mastermind's cheaper. And when you're in a room with a bunch of people on the same page as you, where can you go? Because those people that we surround ourselves with matter. Hey, Debbie, what are you working on this year? Debbie with the IE, like my sister spells her name.
Okay. I am working on expanding my business, and that means that I have to just meet new people. And the most important thing for me is follow-up, effective follow-up, because I do follow-up and then drop the follow-up. So that's kind of my main objective, is to expand and grow it and meet lots of new people along the way. I want to shout out to Ruth. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, your marathon and half marathon things, good for you. I hate running more than anything in life. And I think you are a hero. At this stage in life, my health is important, and I'm not unhealthy now. So I'm trying to implement things, like you said, walking every day or doing some aerobic exercises and also strength training. So Ruth, you are my inspiration for today. I need to get out there and do what I say that I need to do.
But you don't have to run.
I don't have to run. There are other options.
See me running, I would start running because it
Me
must
either,
be
but
dangerous.
Ruth, that is huge because
But
I
you
just
can do water aerobics. You could do, what do you like to do,
yeah.
right?
Well,
And don't try to
technically
be
nothing, but
somebody else.
I like to eat.
It's very inspiring. I think it's phenomenal. And she even said she worked with me and she would tell me, and I'd be like, oh my God, that's so awesome that you did. But she sometimes had to work around her mindset in doing that too, because she had a bunch of other things going on in her life.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? You're trying to run a marathon. You're trying to take care of your health. You have these goals and there's other things in your life. She says, I have a noisy background and I wish I could unmute to talk to Sherry. If anyone can tell her to just read the chat space, it would be amazing.
Yeah, because Lana has put a lot of stuff in the chat. so
Oh,
you
I
can-
didn't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at the very
Okay, then we got to go back. That's hilarious that Sherry just now sees that. I wish I could just tell Sherry that I'm out here. So somebody said they're switching to home Zoom. I get that. I guess because it just wasn't popping up. I didn't see it.
that was me. I was on the phone and then when
I
got home,
know.
switched
I'm
to
teasing
regular.
you,
Okay.
Ruth. I seen that, but let's catch up with what's going on with our other friend here. And I'm sure you guys can look in the chat box and see a lot of this because she didn't just chat me. Okay. I have all these pop-ups on my computer. Don't worry, my IT guy is looking on this on Wednesday. It was driving me nuts. And see,
read
we
it
got to
for
get
you.
experts in other fields. So
She's
All
working
right.
on her personal development. She started yoga and meditation and waking up early in the morning and taking a cold shower, which kudos to her. I wish I could do.
but see, that's what works for her. Running a marathon's for you, a cold shower's for her. I don't want either one. So the point is, be the best version of you. Right? What'd she say? She said that. And she also said a ha 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 up here, which I'm trying to get to, but I got to get rid of all these pop-ups. Yeah, that's what she said. Oh, she's currently in Germany for a vacation, originally from, oh my gosh. I'm a medical doctor by profession, but I took a long break as I was burned out. And by the side, I also am an online store selling variety types of brownies. But lately I've been working on it a lot because I'm losing my mind and motivation. So here I am. See, so she's showing up very transparent. But that's what we have to do. We have to, and we don't have to do it for everybody. Like I said, especially in our businesses, if we show up and we're just naysayers, nobody's gonna want to work with us. But we all have bad days. So who are those people that you turn to? Who are those people you need in your life? In my book, I even talk about the 4 people that we need in our life. We need coaches. Do you know that you need coaches? You need mentors and you need friends. Now, my husband, he is not an extrovert on steroids. Are you guys shocked? But yet he was the one that pursued me and I didn't want to have anything, right? I didn't want to be dating no guy. Come on. But so it's a matter of what his motivation was, right? But he's not. He's more of an ambivert. He's in between extrovert and whatever. But he said, Sherry, not everybody is your friends. So we need mentors, we need coaches, and we need friends. But do you know there's different type of people? There's acquaintances, there's associates, and there's real friends. And bad news, I had my husband lecture me on this and I actually listened to him. Ha ha ha. Some people tell my husband I'm a little bit of a pistol. I am. I'm very independent. I do my own thing. It doesn't mean that I don't take into consideration what my friends and my husband and other people, husband's one of my biggest, right, supporters in my life. But cheerleaders, we need cheerleaders. So do you guys have those people? Do you have a coach? Do you have mentors? Do you have cheerleaders? I talked about my mentors of 30 some odd years. I thought people always had coaches and mentors. Since I was 20, I've always had them because that's something Gerald taught me, but it's important. But friends, when I'm talking about friends, you guys should have like 3 to 5 close friends. Do you have those people? And not to get on my big spirituality, but I have my best friend and that's Jesus, right? God. And you don't got to go to church, spend time with him. It's good because you can have your Christian friends around you, but he's always there and he's there too to lean on, right? And then we got to worry about those toxic people in your life. And like Debbie with a Y was saying, she had to get rid of a couple people. Some people we can't get rid of, but we could put boundaries with them. And when I was raising my kids, I used Love and Logic. I don't know if you guys are really familiar with Love and Logic. But Jim, what is this last name, does it? I used to be a certified Love and Logic coach too. I taught Love and Logic. But the thing with Love and Logic is you become like a broken record. I'll be happy to talk to you when you talk to me in a better tone. Well, I have bad news. It works well with boundaries with people. So my husband, when I was doing this with all teenagers, would tell me not to love and logic him. And I would be like, I'm not love and logicking you. I'm just telling you what I'm willing to do and what I'm not willing to do, which is somewhat love and logic, right? It's about this is what I'll do and this is what I won't do. So if you want to talk to me in this tone. If you're going to cuss at me, I'm not going to listen to you right now. But that's my own choices, right? I'm not saying my husband. I'm saying if somebody was doing that. So anyway, those are just some things to think about. We are going to meet again, and it is from 11 to 12:30, guys. It's okay if you bring a drink, you bring your lunch, because these are lunch and learns. I'm going to be videotaping if for some reason you missed one. And if you're not following me on YouTube, you should definitely do that. And I'm on Linktree. I actually could throw my Linktree in the chat real quick, and then people will know where to follow me. Hold on a second. I will do that real quick before we, and then I would love it. I think we'll do this tomorrow though, only because we probably all need to run unless you guys can hurry up and do it. But it would be great. I should have had you guys do this, put everybody's contact in the chat, because that's great to get to know more people and know how we can help and support each other. Because community is so important. But here is my Linktree. You guys can find you guys could just open that up, but you also can find my YouTube there. And Debbie, yeah, she just threw hers in there. If everybody can do that, I don't know if you guys can. And I'm sorry, we're waiting till last minute. If you have to get off, I understand. But if you put your contact information in there, that would be great so that people know how to find you. Like Pat does remodeling. How hard is it to find general contractors right now, guys? Here in Kansas City, we have a shortage of them. I don't know how you are, Ruth, but we can't find general contractors. That's ridiculous. So if you know a good general contractor, well, now you know Pat. So he's always looking for a great. So if you put your stuff in there, Pat, people will know who to reach out to for that.
How
I
am I
can tell
putting
him
it in
that-
there? Oh, there we go.
Yeah. I can tell you that my husband works for a big general contractor and one of the biggest ones in Texas, and they are having a hard time. Their subs especially keeping employees.
I understand that completely.
But
I called
yeah,
it-
so did you put your name or number or anything in there, Pat? How people can reach out to you if they know people? And do you guys know how to copy these? You guys all know how to copy the chat?
Oh, that went straight to Ruth. I don't know how I got. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Oh, perfect. He's technology challenged.
Funny because there's a
Ruth, can-
David Barr that lives up the street from me, and he is a home builder or something, and I get his mail all the time.
Okay, well, Ruth, could you please take
Is
that
that right?
text that he just accidentally sent to you and put it in the everybody text so that we'll have his contact? And do you guys know how to save these chats, or do you just copy all this so that you have everybody's contact?
Yeah.
And like
Yeah,
I said, we should do it
remind me.
starting, and if we
Let's
need to
see,
do it
is
again
it down
tomorrow,
at
we
the
will.
format screenshot or file?
There used to be ... Is there still ... where you can do
There's
that?
more.
Yeah.
Save chat. There we go.
Yeah, ... down here, and then you can save the chat and you'll have all the stuff that people put in the chat.
Right.
And I look forward to seeing everybody at 11 tomorrow. Bring your lunch. It's definitely a lunch and learn. And you guys go make it a great, oh my gosh, it's Tuesday. So make it a great day, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Taco Tuesday. Bye-bye.